Thank you for joining us for another episode of Tea and Trowels, FPAN's new web series featuring conversations with archaeologists about their research and what archaeology means to them. I'm Emma Dietrich, one of your hosts. Today I'm joined by NOAA archaeologist Tane Casserley. Thanks for joining me, and would you like to introduce yourself and your mug?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Emily. I'm Tane Casserley with NOAA's Monitor National Marine Sanctuary, and I am the Resource Protection and Permit Coordinator. And my mug today is this one, drinking a little bit of Ethiopian coffee. And the mug was actually made by my mom. She's really found a second passion after retirement in pottery and ceramics. And I love it because she made it for me especially, and I love my mom. So cheers to her. Cheers to all the moms out there.
Cheers. Yes, I can agree to that. That's awesome. I love a good handmade mug, which mine is another handmade mug by Scrimshaw Pottery with this awesome gilded work of a kraken attacking a tall ship. So to kind of keep with the maritime theme today. So we'll kick off, and our first question is, why did you become an archaeologist?
Well, I'm not embarrassed to say that as a young lad, I was influenced very heavily by the movies, and Raiders of the Lost Ark pretty much will change my life. And then I think with Ballard's discovery of the Titanic as well, and it wasn't like the thrill of adventure, obviously that's always there, but it's more like telling these stories that we thought were lost in time. So just kind of showing some of those examples gave me a little bit of passion. It sort of, followed my dream, and it took a little while to get there, but yeah, that's pretty much why I became an archaeologist, just really to tell some of those hidden stories that are there that were so meaningful in the past that we need to share again.
No, agreed. I can assume most archaeologists would 100% agree with just that desire to tell those hidden stories. So our next question is, in 30 seconds or less, what is your current research?
Well, so I work for NOAA's Monitor National Marine Sanctuary. We protect the Civil War ironclad, the USS Monitor, arguably one of America's greatest shipwrecks. But we've been looking at the area around the shipwreck off North Carolina that contains all these other resources, all these shipwrecks, from time periods from World War I, Civil War, World War II's Battle of the Atlantic. This is a worldwide event. So Europe, obviously, Africa, South America, Central America, Gulf of Mexico, Florida, and up and down the eastern seaboard, but nowhere more so did it come and really hit home than off the coast of North Carolina. So we've just got such a tremendous amount of these wrecks there, their grave sites, and to share that history with the public and remind folks of that sacrifice that the Allied Naval Force and the U.S. Merchant Marine went through defending our nation. So, we're really proud to be part of that, and then hopefully to expand our sanctuary to include these other resources and really share this World War II battlefield here on our shores.
I think it's really critical for the information about World War II battles that took place in our Atlantic and off our coast. I know when I've spoken with people in Florida, they didn't realize that we had German U-boats off the coast of Florida, that we had stations that were in charge of guarding. I'm based in Sanford, Florida, and we had a naval air station here. Yep. And we have plane wrecks that are out in the Atlantic, in the Gulf, in other areas throughout Florida from World War II. Also have had early Coast Guard stations that were used for World War II watch stations off Florida. So I think bringing that history just to general awareness is really critical. Do you have a specific wreck site that you're working on?
No, to be honest, because we have so many of these wreck sites. So there's 41 of them out there that we're looking at. The majority of those are World War II. And there's just, you want to go to research German U-boats. We have intact ones that are out there in deep water, Allied naval vessels that were out there patrolling for the U-boats to fight against them, and those unarmed merchant ships. There's scores of them out there, and a lot of them are grave sites. These guys gave their lives to save their shipmates and to try to get that essential cargo from here in the United States over there to Europe. So, yeah, it's really just whatever your heart's desire for history is, we can provide it.
I'm really interested, and I feel like I can listen to you talk about that for quite a bit more, just because that's a part of history that I guess as an archaeologist, I never kind of think about World War II, which is just, I think about deep time or that early kind of proto-historic contact period. So when I think about World War II, I need to rethink or rewire my brain into realizing the archaeological significance there. So that's pretty phenomenal, and I'm excited to do a little bit of my own research after this and see what you guys are getting into.
Yeah, it's exciting, but I don't think there's never been a greater geopolitical change since World War II and the repercussions of World War II, and we all live it today. So it just those lessons again from history and archaeology that they can teach us that hopefully we don't repeat this again.
Oh, so I'll continue on, and our next question is, what is your favorite tool?
Being that I'm not so much in the diving business anymore, but I did enjoy it when I did it with NOAA. But now we try to find other ways. How do we tell the stories of the research we do out in the fields, whether it be on land or at sea, and how do we bring those and how do we share it with the public? So my favorite tool right now is creating exhibits for the public. So I know FPAN is a leader in that, doing your trail signs and exhibitry across Florida. We model a lot of what we do off that, but also we try to think, what are not just taking our stories into a maritime museum, but where else can we take it that's untraditional? So we work a lot with aquariums. So we have in the Roanoke Island Aquarium, North Carolina, we actually have a quarter scale monitor shipwreck in there with sand tiger sharks swimming around. It is such an awesome opportunity to have people learn about history and the marine environment, and also the other wrecks that are out there. Wrecks as reefs now. They have a different purpose from weapons of war to now sort of oasis of life. And to tell that whole journey, I think it's pretty special, and also giving the public a different view of what these resources are.
I think that is a very significant tool. One of which that I would really appreciate is my other kind of secret pastime of non-archaeologist Emma is I quite enjoy going to every single aquarium I can find, including the smallest to the largest to ones that you don't think are going to be where they are, like Oklahoma, going to so what would be your best, worst field stories? This is something that you've had happen that now you can look back on and laugh.
Yeah, well, this is many moons ago when I was just starting grad school. I was lucky enough to go as a grad student up to the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. So we went up to the Pearl and Hermes Atoll that's up there, and I was with a marine debris group. So I got to do a little bit of research on my own, but it was really to help get the nets and other marine debris that are on the reefs, get off there so they can thrive and live. But the marine life there is not used to seeing you, right? The humans are not something that's in their sphere of influence. So when they see you, they treat you as another part of the animal kingdom, and oftentimes they're territorial and want to push you away. So we were tow boarding at a shallow reef, which is, think of it like a water skiing rope behind a small boat, and you hold onto a plank, and you have a snorkel on, and you're gliding over the bottom, staring at the seafloor, looking for marine debris, or in my case, shipwrecks. But the fish there can be very territorial. So we have one called an ulua, which is a trevally, a giant trevally, 5-6 feet long, gigantic, not dangerous, but territorial. So we were pulling, I was the observer, the captain was driving the small boat. I was the observer watching what was happening, and you could see this dark shape go darting out behind a coral head straight for the snorkeler and start banging into them, not biting, but like throwing their body against them. So, the individual comes up and was like, ah, and we're like, oh, don't worry, we'll get you. But at the same time, a giant frigate bird started sailing down at us, and it started nipping at the CB antenna. And then I was wearing a helmet and started nipping down at my helmet. So I'm on my back with a pair of fins trying to get this giant 8-foot frigate bird away from me. At the same time, our friend in the water is getting nibbled at by a giant ulua. It felt like it went on for like 6 hours, but it was probably like 2 minutes. But it just shows you that we have to be respectful no matter where we are, that we get unexpected interactions with the marine environment that you wouldn't traditionally think would happen. But yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with archaeologists working outside most of the time, I feel like most of these stories are going to be about interactions with animals of some kind. But that is a really great visual that is right now in my brain. So our last formal question is, how do you think that archaeology will save the world?
Well, I would hope that while it's, again, analyzing and learning from the lessons of the past, right? If we don't learn from those lessons of the past that we unearth as we excavate, as we learn, as we dive into history, we're doomed to repeat them again. So I think for us, it's for what we do in our work is looking at the history, looking at the challenges that we had in the past, how we overcame them, and bring those lessons learned into the future. So hopefully we can move forward and not go through the same things. You know, we have a lot of challenges now through almost every sphere of our waking life, that I think that's a good lesson to take to heart.
I agree. I think we are definitely focusing on looking at how people in the past have adapted and how we can continue to move forward as a species, really. And then our last fun question is, how are you staying sane during quarantine?
It took a little while, honestly. This is, I think, week 4 or 5 for us being at home and teleworking. So for us, it's getting onto a regular schedule, turning off work at come 4:30 or 5, closing the laptop, don't look at work emails, exercise, you go outside and try to connect with loved ones and family members and friends, and getting that personal interaction. So, you know, if you have concerns or fears, or you're just worried about something, it's nice to share that with somebody and not feel judged that it's going to be a work environment or something else. So we've done that, and it's been very helpful.
No, it sounds great. Well, this is the end of our episode of Tea and Trowels. So thank you so much for joining me, and join us next time on our next episode of Tea and Trowels.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.